What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. There's more releases to report in the WWE, so let's not waste any time as we look at the first releases of 2022, why the WWE made the cuts, and what's next for these individuals. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, let's look at these mass firings. A number of news sites including Fightful Select, PW Insider and Wrestling News broke the news of the recent releases, including a beloved and long-tenured figure, William Regal. Now, undoubtedly, it's the most shocking release as William Regal has been with the company since 1998 and who transitioned from an in-ring performer to a trusted figure backstage. He worked as a talent scout for the WWE before it launched NXT. As NXT fans know, Regal played a key role in NXT's formation as an authority figure and helping wrestlers backstage. It didn't take long for some of Regal's students turned superstars to comment on how much he meant to them, including Johnny Gargano, who tweeted, "If it wasn't for William Regal, a lot of your favorite guys wouldn't be on television. He got so many of us indie guys an opportunity. He will never take credit for that, but he deserves his flowers for helping and molding this generation of wrestlers. #ThankYouRegal." Former NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez tweeted, "The people who believed in me, who helped me see a light when it was all going dark, who shared their wisdom and gave me opportunity, who always felt like family. I love y'all, we will always be family." James Drake of the NXT team Grizzled Young Veterans tweeted about Regal's impact on NXT UK. William Regal is the man responsible for the inception of NXT UK. Throughout 2016, he travelled around the UK independent scene to find the 16 participants for the WWE UK tournament. I will never forget him phoning me up with an offer to leave the 9-to-5 life behind me. At the time, I didn't have a big UK independent name. I was working shows around Morecambe and the holiday camps, but without him, I wouldn't be where I am today. There would be no FS Wrestling UK or this version of GYV. He lives and breathes this job. Thank you. As real-life friendship with Triple H is well known, but as fans have seen, friendship and tenure seems to mean nothing when it comes to being released. Another name of Triple H's buddies is the Road Dogg, who's also been released. A WWE Hall of Famer Brian James is well known to the WWE fans for his run during the Attitude Era as one half of the New Age Outlaws and for his time in D-Generation X. But like several wrestlers from that era, James went to work backstage as a producer. More recently, he held backstage in NXT, with Wrestling News' Paul Davis describing James' work as a role backstage at NXT and at the Performance Center where he helped teach promo and character development classes. The third release is Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong, who is actually Brian James' brother, has worked in the WWE since 2006, other than a one-year absence as a referee and a producer. Although he was furloughed in 2020, the WWE brought him back to the company, but they didn't need him for long. Number 4, Ace Steel, aka Chris Guy. Ace Steel is a former wrestler who many fans know as the man who trained CM Punk. Steel was working in the WWE's Performance Center as a coach and producer. Like Scott Armstrong, Steel was furloughed in 2020 but returned to the company. The fifth is Ryan Katz. Ryan Katz worked as NXT's creative producer, who Mike Johnson of PW Insider described as being eccentrically involved in a lot of creative character development and vignettes. Katz, who has worked on MTV's short-lived Wrestling Society X, remember that, was with the WWE since 2015. The next one is Dave Kapoor. As Dave Kapoor, if you might remember, managed the great Khali as Ranjan Singh, was actually still working with WWE and was working in NXT of late. Kapoor had previously worked behind the scenes as a senior vice president of creative. Sean Ross Sapp actually added that one of the names that actually surprised people the most within the company was actually Kapoor. Kapoor has actually been with the WWE for 15 years. People who have worked next to him have heavily praised him for his work in the company. The seventh is George Carroll, as the Wrestling Observer Brian Rose reports that Carroll joined NXT in 2021 as a producer and a writer. Number 8, Kathy Carino. Kathy Carino, who worked in the ring as Allison Danger, has only recently been hired by WWE, working as a coach at WWE's Performance Center. There have also been a lot of NXT wrestlers that have also been released, with Timothy Thatcher, Danny Burch and Hideki Suzuki becoming the first wrestlers to be future endeavored in the new year. And lastly, Sarah Cummins. In addition to the NXT-related releases, the WWE also released an executive. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reports Sarah Cummins, who's held the post of Senior Vice President, Consumer Products at WWE, was released today by the company. Cummins had been with the company since December 2018 and had worked for New York Roadrunners Club for over 9 years prior to shifting over to WWE. So those are the releases, but what's behind the latest crop of them? Well, let's look at their apparent motivation. Other than Cummins, there's a notable pattern to the WWE's releases, and you don't have to be the world's greatest detective to figure things out. The releases are undoubtedly the company's latest efforts to remove any vestiges of previous incarnation of NXT. Fans need look no further than the WWE's own acknowledgement of what drove the releases. Wrestling News' Paul Davis is reporting that the WWE issued the following statement regarding the cuts. With the continued evolution of NXT 2.0, we've decided to part ways with some of their staff based in our Performance Center. We thank them for their many contributions throughout the years and wish them the best. The cuts of 2021 show that there's no such thing as job security for either wrestlers or backstage officials, and it's also clear that it's full speed ahead again in terms of Vince McMahon's vision for an all-new NXT. Is this the wrath of Khan? Well, that's not all, however, as these cuts are evidence of Nick Khan's dominance backstage. The WWE's released a number of executives since Khan became WWE president, some of them with significant time in the company. You may recall that WWE released Senior Vice President, Creative Services Stan Stansky last November. Stansky, who has been with the WWE for almost 15 years, was one of several company workers who got the axe, but it came as an eye-opener as the WWE's willingness to let anyone go. Like many aspects of the WWE, it's difficult to confirm the exact motivations for the executives' releases, as they often rely on the time-trusted budget cuts explanation, but several wrestling pundits have speculated that these executives do not fit into Nick Khan's grand scheme of things. So is this a new future? Well, we discuss what seems to be Vince McMahon's desire to take the WWE to the next level. While fans and critics can point out the company's creative problems, there's no denying that Nick Khan has helped take the WWE's business to new heights. It appears that Vince McMahon is giving Khan considerable leeway in reshaping the WWE's corporate structure, and as long as they continue to thrive, it's unlikely McMahon will get in the way of these changes. Regardless of whether Vince McMahon is making these changes to sell the WWE and get the best possible price, or whether he's looking to continue the WWE's dominance in the wrestling world, Vince McMahon isn't satisfied with the WWE's current status. This is nothing new, as McMahon has always wanted to take the WWE from promoting wrestling to promoting a complete brand of entertainment. The difference here is that McMahon has an ally who seems capable of transforming Vince's dreams into a reality. And with that in mind, is it any wonder McMahon has allowed Khan to do so much? But what is NXT? Have the days of the black and gold brand gone, as Vince McMahon has ditched the majority of NXT's original structure, both backstage figures and wrestlers, and he's infused it with what he sees as new blood, both literally and figuratively? However, what about the many wrestlers and backstage figures who will soon be free agents? Ring of Honor could benefit from all of these releases if the promotion returns from its current sabbatical, as Ring of Honor seems to be looking at revamping its products, and it could be using new trainers, producers, and talent to take the place of the wrestlers who have gone on to other projects and promotions following their release. AEW doesn't need any additional wrestlers, although fans have repeatedly pointed out that hasn't stopped Tony Khan from signing new stars, but it might benefit from some of the trainers and coaches who will be available soon. While AEW's policy for training wrestlers appears to be on-the-job training in matches on Dark, Elevation, and similar shows, there have been calls for the company to consider building its own training facility. Much like the WWE Performance Center, although the WWE likely doesn't care that it's practically handled a training center infrastructure to AEW, Tony Khan should consider this golden opportunity. AEW might not want to build a performance center per se, but if it does, there's never been a better time to hire coaches and producers with experience. Now I'll continue following this developing story and keep you updated on the latest releases and any new information on the reasons behind them. What do you guys think of these mass releases? Do you think there's more to come? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.